So we're meeting on Friday, which is the best day for conversations like this.
Yeah, great day for a conversation like this, absolutely.
You have amazing experience when it comes to working with the top media companies. Can you say something about yourself? Can you introduce?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Mimmo. Thanks for meeting me today. I've worked for more than a decade in the media and advertising industry for big, large media organizations such as the Financial Times and Condé Nast. And these days I now run an advisory firm where I support media owner and publisher and ad tech companies to actually monetize or support publisher in the monetization space, strategy, AI, and data.
Okay, and there is a lot happening within the industry. Companies are worried, for example, about the change in traffic that we can see thanks to some different search engines that are being used right now. People are using different tools. What is your view on this aspect?
Yeah, there has been a structural shift happening in the media space due partially to how, or mostly to how the users are actually consuming media and news these days. The biggest shift I'm seeing is around the discoverability journey and the obviously change in what the so-called Google Zero, essentially the referral search dipping down. Some of the last stats, some players have been affected by this quite a lot. We're seeing drop in traffic by 40-50%. And this is obviously a huge structural change of the paradigm that has actually been around for last 20 years. So the internet was, and news and media were funded by the idea of having a value exchange with Google referring traffic or scanning their page, referring traffic and bringing traffic and users to their page. And this is obviously this sort of value exchange is now broken. So there's been this reshift of the whole paradigm, and this is obviously going to introduce a new sort of idea of how to consume media online. I think this is a bit convoluted.
Okay, so what about this bot traffic versus human traffic? What's your view on that?
Yeah, last year we've seen bot traffic surpassing human traffic on the web, which is unprecedented. We're starting to envisaging a web that is actually moving from a front page of the internet, so human traffic really consuming information and accessing, directly accessing the pages on the web, to a web that is becoming a web for the machine. So bot traffic is actually now, I say surpassing human traffic. That changed the paradigm. It's a paradigm shift, absolutely. And we are seeing publisher having to move from a volume play to a value play, where it doesn't really matter how much page views you have on your properties or on your app, but it's more about essentially who's reading your content, who's engaging with your content, who's consuming. So it's becoming basically an attention game.
Okay, so there is a shift from the volume-based to value-based traffic.
Yeah, it's a shift from the value-based play of the internet to a value-based proposition, where the audience becomes owned rather than rented. So let me explain that a bit better. I said in the past we've had Google referring traffic to publishers or social media referring traffic to publishers. Now we're moving to a logged-in internet where publishers are trying to create more audience insights and understand a bit better about what their readers are or who is consuming their content essentially. So it doesn't matter how many page views you have, but you need to understand exactly who's consuming your content. That's the real point of differentiation.
So when I think about media, the two most important things are creativity and of course making amazing things, but on the other hand, data, because you have to understand who's on the other side of the screen. From your perspective, what can the data be used for by the different media companies and publishers?
Data becomes a central part of the strategy for media owners in general. I think it's hugely important and becomes even more so in this new Web 3.0 essentially. We first investment in first-party data means like understanding your audience, your behavior, the demographic, but also like the context-rich signals around how your audience is consuming or engaging with your content. And this allows for a number of different things that you can do with that then, and opens like a bunch of different revenue streams. So you can allow the capabilities for more hyper-personalization content, but also like helps packaging the audience from an advertising perspective. And this goes back to the idea of like bringing like more of a value play rather than a volume play, because then like, you can understanding your audience a bit better means that you can sell and package the audience in a way that is suitable for advertisers, and generally advertisers are willing and prepared to pay more when they have that understanding of the audience behind. So investing in first-party data proposition and in a strong data infrastructure is becoming like even more central for publisher and the media owners in this new era.
Okay, so you started talking about data, and now we have to talk about AI because it's so connected.
Yeah, absolutely. AI has been, everywhere over the last few years, as we know, but over the last six months, I would say, at the beginning of the year, really, there's been a huge shift that's sensed everywhere. And this is partially due to the new release or the new advancement in this space, and in the space of agentic AI specifically. We've seen the release of Claude Cowork, which has sent shockwaves through the market and has actually introduced in a tangible form the concept of agentic web. And similarly, there's been this hyped open cloud sort of diffusion of this agentic AI that you can use from WhatsApp or from Telegram. What it means in terms of consumption on the media and publisher side, this is obviously developing in a sense that it's going to help disintermediating the layer of media and publishing even further, with users actually accessing that content through a bot or through their AI agentic system instead of going to the website directly. So this is obviously can be a challenges, and that's the reason why publishers and media need to think about these new interfaces and need to think about how they can keep bringing value in this new paradigm.
Okay, so with so many changes, where's the revenue and the opportunity for media today?
Yeah, it's very important in this doomsday sort of thing and era to think about the value that media brands bring to the consumers. And open web isn't dead, the media isn't dead, actually it's stronger than ever, because we are in an age where great content, it's hugely important, and it's going to be even more so. So there are different opportunities and different revenue streams opening up for media brands that are out there and want to actually capitalize on these new changes. So one thing that I'm definitely seeing, it's obviously this shift to consumer revenue, so subscription, paywall, RegGate that are popping up. These are hugely important because, again, it goes back to owning the audience and understanding who's consuming your content. This actually has two impacts. One is it creates a steady revenue stream from subscription, but it also helps from an advertising perspective, because as we said, we can package our audience, understanding our audience a bit better. There is obviously sponsorship, events, and a number of different things that you can do when you have a very strong brand out there. AI licensing is also another thing that is emerging, very early stage. There's been a flurry of deals over the last year or so from OpenAI, Amazon, and most recently Microsoft. And we are starting to see some content marketplace opening up as well, which is obviously an opportunity for media companies as well. So it's bright day out there, as long as media can rethink their overall business around and rotate that business strategy around data, first-party data, of course, and rethink their value in this new sort of like world of in this new era of AI.
So thank you for the conversation today. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on opportunities and on the situation within the industry.
Thank you, Anna, for having me. This has been an insightful and great conversation. Thank you very much.
See you soon.